in Haiti to begin with is very fragile. You know, buildings were built with, you know, like shacks and all this. Compare the devastation in Haiti with the one in Chile. In fact, the earthquake in Chile was even stronger than the earthquake in Chile. Yeah, but you had less casualties because of a different kind of infrastructure and preparations for this. Haiti has suffered about 5 different kinds of earthquakes, you know, since 1804. And this probably was the strongest, you know, that devastated the whole place. Getting relief materials to the country was a very daunting task, you know, for the international relief agencies. Because of what they call the incompetence of the government. The United States, including, also have accused President Preval, the outgoing president, of being very incompetent, you know, in handling relief materials. Up till now, according to some, you know, United Nations and other agencies, hundreds or thousands, you know, of relief materials are still sitting at the airport uncleared, at the seaport uncleared. And what's the reason? From what we understand, some of the members of the Haitian government want to be paid. And the government says they want some taxes to be paid before these relief materials come to the people. Yes,
to the people.
Exactly. Cars, trucks, ambulances, you name it, are sitting at the airport.
Are they still holding that up?
That's correct. That's correct. And so it's understandable. It's not, you know, it's something you cannot understand, that people are bringing things to you for free and you want to tax them again to bring it in. So it's creating a whole lot of problems and anger amongst relief, you know, agencies. Now, the international community has, you know, pledged about 10 billion in reconstruction aid to Haiti. But then the question is, who is going to handle the distribution of those funds to make sure it's used for what it's supposed to be used for? Okay, that's a big problem now, because the agencies don't trust the government currently in Port-au-Prince. An election was scheduled for February, but because of the earthquake in January, it was postponed to November 28. So apparently what will happen is that the international community might wait for the outcome of the elections.
November 28th
election. Exactly, for the November 28 elections, in order to deal with a government they think might be more receptive to what is happening. Now, it's not that President Preval is corrupt personally, because he's not. But then those surrounding him, you know, are probably corrupt, because the way things are going.
Taking advantage of the situation.
Exactly, taking advantage of the situation to enrich themselves, you know, at the expense of millions of people sitting outside, you know, not going to school, don't have drinking water, electricity, all those things are still not working in Haiti, you know, and people are sick and tired of it. See, now President Clinton and Mr. Bush, you know, who are kind of the point men in this Haitian program themselves, are frustrated because of what is going on. You know, it's not for lack of assistance. It's just making sure those assistance, you know, that has been provided get to the people themselves. Haiti is not alone in this problem. Most of the, you know, so-called third world countries go through the same thing. The question of, you know, things getting to the people who are supposed to receive it without going through the pockets of the politicians. That's the big problem that Haiti is facing currently, apart from the political issues, you know, that have to be resolved by November. Is who is going to handle, you know, this $10 billion in aid. Because basically, from what I've heard from international relief agencies, the country has to be reconstructed completely. At least the capital has to be reconstructed from bottom to top. You know, the buildings have to be built differently. Instead of the shacks, they have to be built with earthquake specifications. You know, this is very important. You know, so that has to be done. The ports have to be rebuilt. The airports have to be rebuilt. Schools have to be completely rebuilt. You know, so almost everything in the country has to be rebuilt. Absolutely, in order to be able to withstand.
And they don't have the resources nor the skills
exactly.
in many instances to talk about rebuilding.
That's correct. They don't have the resources or the skills.
Even if you wanted to try to use them as local laborers and do it, without the skills, it would be very, very difficult to, and without machinery, without the infrastructure, Dr. LMadu, that really sounds almost like a hopeless kind of situation. I mean, really, it's difficult to see. As long as it appears to me, as long as the French held that grip on the financial resources, and now after that has been relented, you get the earthquake, and now it seems that the government is almost as bad as the French was toward its own. I mean, is that a cynical point of view, or does that make any sense?
It makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. In fact, if you talk to the Haitians on the streets, you know, they will echo the same thing you're talking about. I just spoke to some of my friends in Florida who are Haitian activists. They felt hopeless about the situation. There's nothing encouraging, you know, because even those who sent, you know, monies and all this to their families, you know, still don't think the government is capable of doing anything. And so from what you've just articulated, yes, they don't have the skills and the basic infrastructure to even, you know, do anything.
Help themselves.
Help themselves. So what will happen? You have to have expatriates come into the country to do these jobs. So instead of those dollars, you know, getting inside the pockets of Haitians, it will be going outside, because these people from outside have to be paid, and they're not going to keep that money there. You see, so it's a very big problem. It's kind of a vicious circle, you know. So the 122 years of paying France, and then from 1947 till today, when you can say the Haitian government has been getting money, still there's nothing in the treasury, you know, to do anything at all. It's always, they're always in the red. I know when Aristide was there, whenever I talked with him, he said, government doesn't have any money. When he was put back in power in 1994, Clinton had promised, you know, $500 million, $500 million for immediate, you know, aid to Haiti to help Aristide reconstruct and build schools and all this. You know, but when Bush came in, you know, Bush just clamped on the money.
Okay.
And with that money, Aristide couldn't do anything. So people started rebelling and rising and complaining about no schools, no food, not all of this. So it's a vicious circle, you know, unfortunately.
With almost no end in sight in a real sense, because there's nothing that the United Nations can't do too much beyond what it has tried to do.
Absolutely, absolutely nothing at all. And then also add what you call the racial problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the mulattoes and then the real blacks. That's another big problem again. Most of the mercantile elite happen to be mulattoes who make all the money, don't pay any taxes, and keep the money outside. And then the majority are what they call the real blacks, you know, who don't have any money. Nothing is happening.
This is just reminiscent of the whole slave structure that still remains there, and it's just done on modern cloth.
That's correct. And yeah, I mean, you just articulated it correctly. Yeah, still.
Okay, and of course, Dr. LMadu, we're going to have to end this today. Let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good night.